decides to go. Good evening, all. What a badass intro that is. What a badass intro theme. I don't think I'll ever get tired of saying that. How are we all doing?
It's my favorite one that I've ever had. Like, besides when I was on the Indies, I used Pour Some Sugar on Me. That's just badass as they come, I think.
I don't think I could ever picture that. Like, would it be Kamikaze Ken that came out to Pour Some Sugar on Me?
No, just Ken Anderson. You know, this was before I was Mr. Anderson.
Pour Some Sugar on Me for me feels like a stripper song. You know what I mean? Like on a pole. So
I did show my ass a lot. I did show my ass a lot.
Half naked.
I used to have, like, it's funny because I used to do this spot on the Indies where somebody would sunset flip me and do the, you know, I wouldn't go down right away.
Yeah.
And they'd pull my ass out. I'd go down, kick out. I'd clothesline them, and then I'd stand there with my ass hanging out for like another 30 seconds. And, you know, oh. And then when I got to WWE and I started working with Shawn Michaels on house shows, he loved that spot. He was like, hey, did you ever do this spot? And I was like, fuck yeah, I
have. You could have been a good duo with Billy Gunn, the Ass Man.
There you go.
Comments are filling up really quick, which is great, everybody. We put out a post earlier on the socials just asking everybody to resubmit questions that you might have put in before and never got answered, so we will get to those. I can see you guys are all filling up in the comments section. Do us a favor and share this episode with people you might think will enjoy it. Give them a chance to interact with Ken. I know that he loves interact. He can tell you himself he loves interacting with you guys as much as you do with him. Very briefly before we get in the show, we do have now a membership tiered program as part of the YouTube partnership, which is amazing. It's amazing that we got there in so little amount of episodes. This show essentially goes towards paying for itself and future opportunities for us to do things live to grow the show. So if you are into doing something like that, you can go to the YouTube channel and just go to join, and you'll see there's a list of tiered options. There is one on there that I would note to all upcoming professional wrestlers. If you would, something that when in my time, whenever I was working with indie guys, would have been phenomenal, and I think more pros should do it, where if you want to have Ken critique a match, or even just spend an hour with you every month going over your questions and, you know, your gimmick, and just basically doing what he does at his school, prepping you for the big leagues, you know.
Yeah.
I always hear JR talking about it on his podcast. If you want to learn, you learn from the best. If you want to learn how to make it, you go to someone that's made it. So definitely check that out on our YouTube. If you can become a member, that would be beautiful. This channel needs all the members and basically to build that community. So it's live now to go ahead and do that if you must. Today and this week, has been a hell of a week. We lost Ozzy Osbourne, R.I.P., one of the greatest of rock and roll, but, you know, we lost... who was it that said? Was it Billy Ray says Hulk Hogan wasn't on Mount Rushmore, he was Mount Rushmore. Ken, I know you worked with Hogan in TNA, but you also were on the Hulkamania tour. Is there any good stories or something positive that you can put into the world now that we'd lost the man himself?
I've said this before. I think I've said it here. That tour was by far the best wrestling tour that I've ever been a part of. It was what I always dreamed that a professional wrestling career would be. We were in a foreign country, an amazing country, the second best country in the world, right?
Yeah.
Love you too, honey. And for those that don't know, my wife is Australian. So, and we actually, like, when I worked for WWE and when I worked for TNA, it was, we're in Scotland on Monday. Tuesday, we're in Denmark. Wednesday, we're in Ireland. You know, it's just go, 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 go. And you never get a chance to actually enjoy anything. Or if you do enjoy anything, it's always you're sacrificing something. You're sacrificing sleep for it. This was, we would get into Melbourne and we would have a day to chill and relax and hang out by the pool at this really nice hotel that all the boys, literally all the boys, Rikishi, Umaga, Hulk himself, the Nasty Boys, Shannon Moore, all these guys, Orlando Jordan, all hanging out by the pool, chilling, you know, being a family. And then the next night we would wrestle. And then the next day we might have another day off, and then we'd move on to the next city. It was like that. We did, I think, four different cities in Australia. And that was the first time that I really had any interaction with Hulk. And he was just as cool as you could, you know, they say never meet your heroes, but that wasn't the case here. And he couldn't have been cooler. And that sort of opened the door for somewhat of a relationship. When it came time for there to be an opportunity for me to go over to TNA, it was Eric and Hulk that were instrumental in making my career over there, and at least you know, getting it going. And I posted one of my favorite interactions that I had with Hogan on my Facebook a few days ago when I learned about his passing, and just to have had the opportunity to be in the ring with him and go face to face and speak to him like I spoke to him, with, you know, just cocking off straight to his face in character. While in my head, I knew that, you know, I would never speak to this guy like this in real life. Well, unless there was a reason to, right? But not a fucking doormat. But yeah, so just like nothing, but he was always great to me.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I know that he was a big fan of yours, really was. And you could see that in the early days. Even, you know, Hogan foreshadowed you showing up on Genesis that night. So it's pretty awesome that, you know, he was a part of your career. And even in just such a small way. I know it was a big part of everybody's childhood. If you ever watched wrestling in any capacity, you know, you've most definitely wished you were the guy in the ring giving it all this. I know I certainly did when I was a kid. But as like people are saying in the comments, Hulkamania will live forever. It's been a really, really sad. They say it comes in threes, but I'm sure someone else, I think that they filled the three slots right. I don't think the other guy was related to wrestling, but hopefully that's
Well,
this year. Right?
I mean, hopefully we're done.
Isn't Ozzy in the WWE Hall of Fame though?
He is,
Right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
He hosted an episode of Raw.
Yeah,
right.
I thought he was on SmackDown in 2007.
He would have been. Yeah.
I saw somebody post the other day. Maybe he probably did both. I did see somebody say that in 2007, and I wasn't there for that, and I feel like I had been drafted over to Raw at that time, and that's probably why I missed him. And he is, I'm not kidding you, like my second favorite, my favorite band of all time is Motley Crue.
Right.
My second is Ozzy Osbourne.
No way.
And yeah, did you guys ever see him in concert?
No, I didn't. But I've seen many of the greats Ozzy's one that I missed, unfortunately. And I also really liked Ronnie James Dio's version of Black Sabbath as well. Shout out to Dio, who we lost in, 2011?
Yeah.
He was phenomenal. Motley Crue are right awesome. Have you seen them recently? Have you seen clips of it?
I witnessed it firsthand.
No way.
And it's funny because like I went to it here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and whenever I would talk to somebody about it for a few years after, and I would bring it up, and I would say, it's really weird because Vince was like, he would just mumble some words and then hold the microphone out to the crowd, and he was saying the sounds that were coming out of his mouth sounded kind of like the words that are in the song, but not exactly. And then it's funny because like 2 or 3 years later after that, then it finally started coming. I see all these TikTok videos and YouTube videos and stuff like that. Like my kids know about it. Like my kids are 11 right now,
Keystart Maha rather than Kickstart Maha. Unbelievably. I think Axl Rose is also a victim of that as well.
That's my
isn't
third. That's my third favorite.
Guns N' Roses. I've seen Slash live. I've never seen the full band together, but they're amazing. We need to do a full episode at some point on just rock bands.
I'm down.
We pretty much go. Me too.
Right, so maybe we get Bully Ray on here.
That's right. Isn't
Zach? You're familiar with Black Label Society, Zach Wilde, right?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Zach wrote a book, and have you read it?
No, I haven't.
The greatest thing about this book, I can't remember exactly what the title was, but he gave Jericho and Bully Ray chapters in the they actually write chapters in the book.
Oh, nice.
Because they're buddy. I guess Zach tells a story. He was playing a concert and he looks out and he sees this big 350-pound motherfucker just moshing and thrashing everybody in the mosh pit. And it was Bubba. That's how they're friends. And he you can come hang with us, buddy.
No way. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, there's a wee shout out there to the Headbangers, Mosh and Thrash. I don't know if that was that by design. I think they've been at your school, haven't they?
They were just here probably 5 or 6 months ago.
Shameless plug.
A little seminar. But I love those guys. I got to know them doing not seminars, findings and stuff, conventions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And being on shows with them. They're just two great guys.
Another two guys. Yeah, and they never aged either, from what I can tell.
They look the same.
What's that all about, eh?
They got the Dick Clark gene in them.
Absolutely. There's just some people in this world that just don't age. The comment section is filling up, so I'm going to go through some of these now.
Some good questions in there.
Chavez says, let's go. Mr. Anderson from John Minor. Mr. Do you know what? They see since doing this show, so I'm not going to pretend to act like I know what it's been like for you. But literally any time I post a piece of content, there's about 20 just Anderson comments. How much do you deal with that in life?
Hey, I'll post a picture of my kid. I'll say, happy birthday to Pearson Prescott. And the first comment will be, Mr.
I mean,
hey, I'll take it. I don't. I appreciate it.
That's when you know, right? Sometimes I'll put something out asking questions, to the community, and it'll just be like, Mister, and I'm like, this doesn't answer it in any way, but we appreciate you.
You know what's crazy? I haven't been on TV now for I left TNA in 2016. I left WWE in 2009. I was on a scooter. They have these little Lime scooters here on the streets that you can just walk up to. There's a little app on your phone. You scan it. It charges you a couple bucks a mile or whatever. Right? I was my wife and I we were doing something. We were running somewhere to meet a friend, and I'm on this scooter, and like I'm driving down Minneapolis, and just some random guy sticks his head out the window and yells, "Mister!" That's crazy to me.
It's excellent. I actually love it. It's respect.
This is going to be the question tonight.
100%. John Miner says,
let me think about how I feel about that. I don't know how to answer that.
Other than Anderson. John Miner says, it's awesome when these opportunities come up to interact with such amazing people. Mr. Anderson truly has held to what he's said based on my interactions with him. Thank you, good sir. Just a lot. They're putting you over in the comments. Mailbag questions, let's go. I hope they get one of my questions. I had a Buff Bagwell one about worst match he's wrestled. Right, okay. So, Notorious Gav, just for you, mate. There we go. So, it's a two-parter. What's the worst match?
I'm going to say that's the Notorious GAB.
Well, in Scotland,
Notorious BIG.
Yeah, you're right, and he can answer this. In Scotland, Gav is short for Gavin, so it's impossible for me to see GAV and not assume his name's Gavin and just call him Gav anyway.
Understand.
Based on the profile picture, I'm going to go with it. His name's probably Gavin, right? So from the Notorious Gav.
Is Gavin a common like Scottish name or something?
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what's funny? Look what he was GAV. Yes, sir, Ken. Oh. He's Gav from now on, I swear. Oh, no way, look. Yeah, my name's Gavin. I'm from Wales, hence the sheep. So his name's not Gavin, it's Gavin, then. That was a Welsh thing. It was a terrible one. So what's the worst match that you have been part of, excluding injuries, and why? There's a two-parter to this, so I'll let you answer that a bit first. What's the worst match that you have been part of, excluding injuries, and why? Other than the one that got you fired. For obvious reasons.
We're not talking about that yet.
When we get to the 100 sub mark.
Almost there.
We'll talk about it. Man, the worst matches that I've been a part of, actually, one of the worst that I was ever a part of was with Taker. We were in, I want to say it was Portugal in like 2007. We were right in the middle of our feud. And for whatever, they were just silent. And I remember, normally Taker would grab my hand and he would start backing up towards the ropes, like back in the corner, like he was going to go up for old school. And they'd start to come up. And then I'd cut him off and stop it, and we'd go away from it for a while. And whatever we did, they didn't react to it. Because we worked we would work 4 nights a week for several months. And we would change things up here or there, but like it was pretty much the same formula to the match every time. Mm-hmm. So like I'm saying, we would do something and they wouldn't react at all. And like Taker, I remember I covered him at one point and he was like, let's just fucking go home. Like, these people suck. Like, and then we, fucking dumped me on my head. And we went to the back and he was like, sometimes you just got to like wrap it up and you just got to take the loss, can't win them all. Other than that, I will say the worst matches that I've had have been like independent matches with people that cannot, like there was a guy in Alabama. Oh, Anastasia was visiting. She wasn't living here in the US. She was visiting and she came with me to Alabama and I wrestled this guy who also wrestled as, he would show up to conventions as Alabama Doink. It was like this. He did a Doink the Clown ripoff, called himself Alabama Doink. Really, really out of shape. But I wrestled him as himself, whatever his unmasked persona was. Mm-hmm. And I I remember at one point, he had me in a rear chin lock or something, and it was just so all over the map. And I looked out at Anastasia, and I literally was like this. I was like, he just started laughing, and I was like, all right. Like I said, he's got me here, and I just went.
Oh, what?
That was brutal.
Oh no, that's quite a sore one. I take it there's more stinkers to be had on the indies because they get their best guy, but sometimes their best guy not always up to.
Well, and here's the thing too. This guy was the promoter, and a lot of times promoters, not a lot of times.
Every time. Every fucking time.
Promoters put themselves over, right? Like, when they shouldn't be putting themselves over.
1,000,000%.
This was a clear case of that.
Was it Ben Bishop done a really good short about that? I'm going to, obviously as the top guy, the promoter, I'm going to put the belt on me so that it has prestige.
That's a bad idea. That's a fucking terrible idea.
No, right.
That Ben Bishop has some amazing content.
Yeah, definitely.
My two favorite YouTubers, independent like wrestling YouTubers right now are Ben Bishop and Thigh Slap. What's his name? The guy who does the Thigh Slap thing. He wrestles for OVW. Jack Bond, the veteran Jack Bond.
Oh, nice.
Look that
we definitely will. A big Ben Bishop fan. He's going to come on in a couple of weeks. I've been chatting to him recently. You're one of his heroes as well, so that'll be a pretty cool conversation. I think we should talk a lot about indie wrestling and what it's like for you post TNA and WWE, going back to the indies and his experience of being on the indies and see where worlds collide there. That'd be a really good conversation. We will get back to the notorious Gav in a second, but we have a super chat from Chris Price. Sorry?
Real quick. Right. Fuck, I had it. Let's do the super chat. It'll come back.
We will come back to it for sure. Chris Price, who is our very, very first honorary, we'll call him the honorary Oos, which is brother, which I found out from WWE on, what's that new show? Jey Uso tells what Oos means. It means brother in Samoan. So
it's got a different meaning here in Scotland, though.
Oos. Oh, yeah, it's fluff.
Yeah, just like a bit of fluff on your jumper. We call that Oos.
Oos. Yeah, 100%. I don't know.
What?
Oos is fluff.
Is
where
fluff?
That's where we're from, yeah. I don't know if it's I think the Scottish and the Aussies have similar, right? I mean, you'll need to ask Anastasia that if Oos is also fluff where she's from.
Anastasia. It's not.
She's not. Oh well, it's just us then. So our honorary fluff, Chris Price. He says, "What's the riskiest thing you've ever done in wrestling that didn't pay off?" That's a great question.
It didn't pay
Keep that off, actually.
Riskiest thing I've ever done. One time, two things, right? So, and there's video footage of this. First one, I'm wrestling. It's my first year in the business. I've probably had maybe 15 matches under my belt, maybe less. I'm wrestling Adam Pearce, a young, upcoming Adam Pearce, who is sort of an independent, Midwest independent wrestling darling. He's had WCW tryouts. He actually, at that point, had an offer from WCW and to go to like developmental, and he turned them down. Like, that's just right. How confident Adam Pearce was at this time. I wrestled him at in my hometown, or right next to my hometown, Rockwood, Wisconsin. And I did a dive off the top rope to the floor. We were wrestling on it was a sand volleyball court. I did a dive off the top rope, and I thought, I'm gonna dive onto him, actually, like head first. And he just sort of like sidestepped, and I fucking lawn jarted
Oh.
and side scorpioned on the ground.
Oh no.
And then I ended up, for some reason, I just to compile with the stupidity at this time, I sent that match to Kevin Kelly in the WWE because I figured I'm wrestling Adam Pearce, you know, like this is kind of my biggest deal to date. And then, so I sent that to him, and I remember he sent, you know, he called me back and he was like, do you want a piece of advice? And I went, yes, please. He's like, do you want to have a long career? He goes, you don't need to do stuff like that to get over. So stop doing that. And then I was like, yeah, I think you're probably right. And I stopped doing it. You know, I stopped doing, I always, when I first got into the business, my trainer came up with the name Kamikaze Ken because I wanted to do moonsaults and dives and all crazy stuff, swantons and stuff. And it was at that point that I realized, like, I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach.
That's a very smart way to go about it, right?
Yeah. And then there was another time, this is so stupid. I worked for a guy in Illinois who he would love to, like, kind of rib newbies and give them stupid gimmicks. And one of the gimmicks that he had on, and this really wasn't as much of a rib as he just came up with this character, and it was super over on the little fun indie family shows that he would do. And it was the Wisconsin Chicken. And the Wisconsin Chicken would do the chicken dance. You know, you had to do that as a spot at some point. And so I wrestled a tag match as the Wisconsin Chicken. And these two guys that were like, they were 6'3" or 6'4" each, probably weighed 280. So they're big guys. And I decided we were on concrete. I decided I'm going to do a moonsault off the top rope. These guys are going to catch me for sure. And when I did it, they caught my ankles. So my head, like, I smashed both my wrists. And I don't think I didn't break them, but I sprained them significantly. So still have wrist issues. So yeah, two instances.
So it's always injury related.
But I never got, like, both of those things. It hurt. It sucked for a really long time. But, you know, they weren't like, I didn't have to have surgery or anything on those.
See, to piggyback on the end of that question from Chris, right? Because I don't know if he meant that physically. What's the riskiest thing you've done that wasn't physical, that might have been like, you know, going over on a match or not taking someone's advice? Is there anything that comes to mind that's risky in that sense? No.
So, yeah. So when I was working Taker and we were wrapping up our feud, I would do things where Taker would go to kick me and I would cover up. Right? And like in wrestling, you're supposed to sort of leave yourself open.
Yeah.
If you watch really old school wrestling, guys will get punched and then put their head right back in the same spot. I would do, and it was Val Venus that told me when I went to do a extra work for WWE, I happened to be working out in the ring, and Val pulled me aside. He was like, "Hey man, you know, like when somebody goes to punch you, like you can sort of like cover up and still leave an opening so that it looks like you're at least trying to block it instead of just leaving your head out there." That's like old school. Stop doing that. And then when I got Vince actually would say that in meetings, he would be like, "Stop just feeding yourself open. It look like you guys are actually in simulated combat. You know, like you block. You wouldn't just, God damn it, you wouldn't just leave your head out there for somebody to punch it." So anyway, I would do stuff like this. So for instance, Taker would go grab my ankles and pull me, and I would hold on to the bottom rope. And then he'd stomp me, and then I'd let go, and then he could drag me. And little things like that. And he said, that kind of stuff will set you apart, makes you different. He goes, keep doing that. He goes, but beware, because there's people on the other side, meaning Raw, who aren't gonna like that, and you need to maybe modify that a little bit. And I didn't take his advice. To my ultimate demise.
To my ultimate demise. No, hey, there's still plenty of time. Who's it? Gary Vaynerchuk says, like, when you're in your 30s and your 40s, like, you're still young. Society's told us that that's old, but hell no. People are living at their 70s and their 80s. You're still a young man when you're, in your 30s and 40s, maybe sometimes 50s. That's all it's all about. That's what it's all about. Notorious Gav, I did say I wouldn't duck you on your second question, and this is quite relevant because, Ken, you spent, I think, if I'm correct, the last time you spent with this fella that we're going to ask a question about was when Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. You were sitting with Marcus Bagwell, Buff Bagwell. The question here from the Notorious Gav is Buff serious when he says he's going to make a comeback as a one-legged wrestler, and could you see him making that work?
I saw, I don't know if it was on Maven's podcast.
It was, yeah.
Where he was talking about, they showed him somebody with these artificial legs that was like running, right? That was on, he talked about that. I mean, like, if that's possible, I totally could see Buff doing it. Yeah. I mean, fucking please. Wouldn't it be cool to see something like that? To see an actual.
Yeah, it would be amazing. And as well, look at how far Buff Bagwell's come from, where he started, where he went, and where he is now. He's a success story. So, like, more power to him. Why the hell wouldn't he be able to do that? Why wouldn't anybody? Yeah, he seems really cool. And you know what? For someone that's going through a lot of crap right now, losing his leg, he really does seem to be like really positive. So I think with an attitude like that and perseverance, there's no way that he wouldn't be able to. So let's see what happens next, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's definitely whatever he's gone through. Pretty much everything a person can go through. Really.
Yeah.
And he has definitely seized those opportunities, like the rehabs that he's gone to, the skill sets that he's learned.
Yeah.
Like, he's actually applying them, changed his life.
Phenomenal. It's good to see that. I remember watching, this was way before YouTube was even considered the place to be for podcasts and stuff like that. But I remember Matt Hardy was really ahead of the curve. And I'm talking before Zack Ryder. Matt Hardy had Matt Hardy Brand, the channel. And I remember that at the time when he came into TNA as Cold Blood, at which I was following his content, and then he was like, guys, it's been in the news, why I'm going to take a bit of time out from TNA. He was having his issues, right? And he was quite emotional in his video, and he says, but know this one thing, I'm going to work on me, I'm going to get fixed, and when I come back, I'm going to take over. Like, he was like, I dare you, I bet you to bet against me. And I remember looking at that going, like, good for you, mate. And he did. He came back and he became Matt Hardy, broken Matt Hardy, and 100%. And he just continued the legacy of who he is. And I just remember looking back thinking, many people probably don't remember that video that he put out there, but I was like, that's a guy that knew exactly what he was going to do, and he'd done it. And I think people in general, wrestlers, when they've got that fighting spirit to really just pull themselves to the depths, anybody can do it, and I just think it's amazing. So, a clap for everyone.
He has got such an amazing business, like a brain for business. He's just reinvented himself again and again and again.
There was a time when
I first got to WWE, he already had that. Like, this was 2005. When we first started riding together, he was putting out weekly videos and making money off of it already. Like,
yeah.
Nobody else was doing that. Nobody else. The next person that I recall doing anything like that, and I never got to the point where I started doing it right after I left WWE, and I only did 11 little short episodes. Then I stopped, And then the next person that I saw doing it was
Matt Cardona.
Matt Cardona.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you know another thing which many people overlook with Matt Hardy, what he managed to do? You know, in every great tag team ever, there's always the one that they say is the standout. Bubba Ray from the Dudleys, Edge from Edge and Christian. Not to discredit any of their partners because they're phenomenal, right? But I think maybe Vince even created it where there's always the one. Shawn Michaels to Marty Jannetty, etc. It was Jeff Hardy, right? But Matt Hardy managed to flip that 100%. Now, of course, they're on par. But for so long, like Jeff was the one that you were to be excited about. That's the way we were conditioned. But then Matt flipped that completely to the point that Jeff almost seemed like the secondary character in Matt's story. And now, obviously, they're like just a stratosphere where like they are the Hardys. But not many tag teams go from that. You looking at the one as the breakout to them being like, they both are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very hard to do it. Jey Uso and Jimmy. I do believe the best is still to come from Jimmy, though. I don't think we've seen his greatest yet. But, it's a process. We have another question here. We can leave this one for a later date, or you can kind of touch on it a little bit, kind of tease. PS2.DZ says, did you get any heat from the office for your match with John Cena on Raw in 2007 when he injured his pectoral muscle?
Yes, I did. But not from the office necessarily. I never felt any heat from the office directly. But yeah, we'll talk about that at a later date. But
yeah, so
yeah,
leave that as a solid yes.
I'm just gonna say this. He gave me a hip toss, and then he tore his pec, and he claimed that I tore his pec somehow. Like I can watch the video over and over and over and over again, and like it's a hip toss. Like sometimes accidents happen, but I definitely. And then like I remember when I told you that Austin called me and said, "Get the hell out of there, kid." When he said, this guy hates your guts, this guy hates your guts, and he goes, and you know that you got the heat for John. John claims that you tore his pec, so they ain't no coming back from that one at this point.
That's like final boss material there. See, as a wrestling trainer, Ken, my question to you on the back of that would be, if this was two of your students, and the student receiving the hip toss is then claimed to be the one that created the injury on the one given the hip toss.
Yeah.
What would your like if it was as straightforward as the one that we've seen with you and John? What kind of feedback would you give to both?
I don't know. I think it's a bullshit position to be in the first place. As I said, it's a dangerous business. Sometimes people get injured doing like. I think Taker picked somebody up for a body slam, and he tore his biceps. That was, you know what I mean? Like it's sometimes shit just happens.
Vince tore his quads getting into the ring.
Yeah, yes. Right?
Who's going to blame for that? Batista and John.
Yeah. Oh God damn it! If you guys hadn't done what you did, I wouldn't have been forced to come to the ring.
Fined both of them for tearing Vince's quads.
I heard a good story about that one. I think it was Edge was talking about it. And apparently, because he was the last one out.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, when Vince was crawling through the halls, so everyone was told, listen, just stay in the locker rooms. Don't go out in the hall. Don't look. I don't know how true that is, but...
he was crawling in the halls?
Yeah, he was crawling the whole... No one was helping him. He didn't want any help.
God damn it, leave me alone.
Yeah. As I say, I'm sure it was Edge was speaking about it. And... Yeah,
this reminds me. Paul Heyman told me a story one time. He said he was in Vince's office, and he had like one of those rechargeable electric razors. And he said the thing sounded like it was on its last leg, and it was like the blades were dull. He'd been using the same one for like 5 years or whatever, and he was like, He was like, Vince, would you like to borrow mine? He goes, no, I like a challenge.
As his face is like all chopped to bits. It reminds me of that Family Guy skit where
blood, patches of blood.
you ever seen the Family Guy skit where Peter Griffin has to put his head between two hammers to get the hat, and it crushes his head, and he's standing all fucked up. And he's like, "I got the hat." Notorious Gav finds that one funny. Elite Video Productions says, "Good morning from Sydney, Australia. How far away from your wife's neck of the woods is Sydney? Where's she from? Melbourne.
Melbourne.
Melbourne, right.
Melbourne is, I don't know, I want to say, it's like if you looked at Australia like the US,
Mhm.
would be the distance from like New York City to Atlanta, Georgia, or maybe even farther south. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the US, Leon. Probably not. Okay, I can tell.
So not
From
far
like
then.
top of Scotland to the bottom of England.
That's like
Oh,
2
right.
hours.
It's probably about 2 or 3 hours now. I think I just done
is
that drive.
it? Oh, way longer.
Nah.
No, it's like an 18-hour, maybe even a 19, 20-hour drive.
Damn.
Awesome.
Oh well, I mean, they're not that far then, right?
I could be wrong, though. I could totally be wrong.
I love that Elite Video Productions, right? In true elite fashion, is abbreviated to EVP. Have you had any contact from WWE in the past year?
I would like to answer that question at this time, but I'm going to have to exercise my Fifth Amendment privileges.
Manifest. Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
you know,
I've spoken to people, but no, there's no.
You have lots of friends at WWE, so technically anybody you speak to in WWE is WWE, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So yes. Guys, fire questions again.
I would be open to having more discussions with them. If that.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was a question there actually I saw, which is a great one on the back of what you're saying here. This is from Martial Arts Media. In a perfect world, if you were given full creative control to book your return to wrestling at either WWE or AEW or TNA, who would you want to work with, and what story would you enjoy exploring?
I think the obvious one would be the Randy Orton.
That would be smart. I think. Do you know what? I actually, if I was the booker, I'd probably have you come in against LA Knight for obvious reasons. Yeah, that would be your transition back in, and then just when all the stakes are high, Randy Orton shows up and RKO's you, setting off a chain of events, opening old wounds. That's how I would do it.
That's a great idea, actually.
I mean, if they're quick, they could have you replace Drew.
What was that?
If they're quick, they could have you replace Drew at SummerSlam. Because Drew's stuck in the UK still.
He's stuck here.
Yeah.
Why is he stuck?
Passport issues. He has his UK passport, but not his US passport. I don't know how that works, I guess, because he's probably a US citizen now. He needs to have both.
Oh, man.
But he's stuck across here, so it's put the match in jeopardy. And
That's
I think
crazy.
the Miz is looking to step in.
Well, let's manifest it, right? Everybody that's watching here, tell like 10 of your buddies just to tweet at WWE. You know, there's only one person good enough for the job. Mister! Send all your misters over to WWE. They'll see them. We got another super chat here. Huge thank you to Alex Cosentino. Thank you for that. I was waiting for something like this coming up. We don't ask you these obvious questions for the obvious reasons, but this fella's super chatted it, so you have to answer it one way or another. Were you there for the Booker T / Batista fight? And I think we got someone in the comments here that just wants another Booker T impression.
So these two guys are both friends of mine, so I hated the fact that they got in the fight in the first place. I wasn't there. It was a SummerSlam shoot. It was like an a commercial shoot for the SummerSlam.
Mhm.
06, 07, 08, maybe something like that. But I remember Matt telling me about it. Matt called me right away. Like, I saw it. But I got to TV the next week, and I come up to Booker in the hallway, and I was like, "Hey, man, you okay?" And he goes, "Man, I whooped that motherfucker's
ass." Alex Constantino says, "I never did like that."
I always never did like that motherfucker. That was one of my favorite Booker T things that he's ever said. I always never did like that motherfucker.
You know, I think
he goes, fuck that motherfucker.
you know what's funny is your facial expressions even mirror that of Booker T's. I've seen that very face.
My favorite, speaking of that, is the little he would do the lip quiver. He would go like, man, I don't know if I can tell this story or not. Hang on. Let me do a quick edit here. That motherfucker likes them little kids. The soul's red in the motherfucker. You do like the little lip quiver.
Yeah. Who was he talking about in that instance? Someone else.
Man, I hate to do shit like this, but like I could text Undertaker right now and say assholes ... and his response would be red in a motherfucker.
Excellent. Yeah, Booker T's a legend. I think I'd probably really get on with Booker T. He just seems like a guy's type of guy, but a guy that takes no shit. And he's got a really successful school as well. Was it Reality of Wrestling?
One of my students just transferred down there. I really encourage my students to not, once they're done training at my school, like go out there, get more training, keep your career.
That's good. I mean, it's probably the best thing you want is someone that's not going to keep you here, for financial gain, but someone that really wants to see you flourish, like many have. Someone else that's flourishing right now in the area of Norwich is Zaket Potato. So Zach Knight, you guys will remember. Well, you'll know who if you've seen Fighting With My Family. His character's portrayed in that movie. He has correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, but it's a jacket potato place in England called Zaket Potato.
Yep.
And right now, if you go to Zach's Potato, it's a van, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a food truck. And if you are in need, if you're a family who's in need, you need a meal, hot meal, can't afford one for yourself. He says that there's a fund, and he's willing to give out free meals to people. And they're just outside the Reindeer Pub on Deer Road in Norwich. The whole family is like the Knights, in my opinion, are wrestling royalty in England.
100%.
Mickey Knight, Dad, Julia, the mom. You've got Saraya Knight, obviously. Is that she goes by Saraya Knight now in AEW, right?
Yeah, so Saraya Beavis is her name, isn't it? And Saraya Knight was her mother's name. That's right. Or was her mother's ring name. But yeah, Saraya, she just goes by Saraya in AEW, but I don't think she's there anymore. I think we're waiting any day for her to return to WWE.
Okay. What was her name in WWE again?
Paige.
Paige, that's right.
Have you really not watched it for that long?
I'm telling you, man, like when I left WWE, I had a big chip on my shoulder. It was really hard to watch. I didn't watch at all. The whole time I was at TNA, I just...
That's fair enough. Well, do you know what? We're going to actually try and reignite your love for WWE, if it hasn't already.
I do. I do now, for sure.
Mm-hmm. We should do a watch-along with one of their PLE events at some point with everybody that's here, you know? That'd be pretty cool. Definitely. Just to get, you know, to say that you can sit and watch a PLE with Mr. Kennedy/Anderson. But another thing is, it'd be great to get your take on what's going on the screen, you know? Before we take more questions, I would just like to play a word from one of our sponsors. This episode of Mic Check with Mr. Anderson is brought to you by EMEET, creators of the world's first dual camera AI PTZ 4K webcam, the EMEET PIXY. Whether you're podcasting, streaming, or jumping into high-stakes meetings, the EMEET PIXY delivers crystal clear 4K video, smart auto framing, and dual angle flexibility, making you look sharp from every angle. We use the PIXY ourselves, and it's become an essential part of our setup here on Mic Check. Want to support the show, upgrade your content? Just click the EMEET link in the description and get started today. EMEET PIXY. See the difference. Support the show. Stay sharp. Oh man, that sounds like a right goof. I need to work on my Mister.
It's silky smooth, man.
Yeah, my voice wasn't as smooth as the camera is. These AI cameras are great when you move around. I don't know if you've got it set to follow you, because it's you can switch it back and forth. But anybody that is looking to get a really cool webcam that really is precision, if it's the type of thing that you're doing, if you're streaming, which we encourage everybody to, then go ahead and use the link below, and that helps support this show, which keeps the show here. And when I say we've got huge plans for the future, like, I'm no joking. So truly, every super chat, every member, anything that you do to support the show, even if you just hit the like button or tune in, really supports the show, and we super appreciate it, because you're part of helping this channel grow to what it's going to be. Here we go. Here's another super chat, Ken, from Alex Cosentino. Again, what a lad, man. What was the best financial advice you received in your career? Because you hear of a lot of wrestlers ending up completely broke.
Just save money when you're on the road. Like, you don't need to stay in fancy hotels every night. Really, you know, I never would I go as far as Mick Foley, right?
Yeah.
But Matt Hardy and I, you know, Matt was making really great money. I was making solid money, and we would heal rooms all the time. Like, there were a lot of situations where I would share a hotel room with somebody, you know, and stay at a Red Roof Inn. I remember I did an interview I was wrestling Batista. I was in a program with Batista, and WWE.com reached out to me to do an interview. And in that interview, I said something like I was, you know, laying in my hotel room at the Red Roof Inn, contemplating the next days. And I remember Stephanie called me and she was like, "Ken, you don't stay at Red Roof Inns. Like, at least publicly. Like, you don't." Like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're like, here, we don't pay our wrestlers well enough to stay at Red Roof. Do you know what's funny? When I travelled into Manchester or whatever to cover conventions and do the whole handheld stuff, you know, I always travel cheap, and it's not like I can't afford it. It's just purely, I'm like, here, I'd rather spend extra money on other things while I'm there. And I remember going into a room and the bed was broken. There was a window. When I opened the window, it's just a brick wall.
Crazy.
But you know, I think there's charm in traveling cheap, and you get the stories, like waking up and my cameraman is built like fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? And he got up during the middle of the night to go for a pee that you had to leave the room and travel across like the actual hotel. In his boxer shorts, right? And he comes back and he's like, Kevin, he's Polish speaking. Kevin, he's like, oh, there's an issue. It turns out in the bathroom, there's water pissing out of the light. It's like, well, we can both shower at the same time. So I think you get the good stories when you're traveling so cheap. And like you just said there one way, Stephanie McMahon saying, hey, you don't stay there. We got another super chat. Instagram, a wrestling historian. Thank you again for all the support you guys give. Were there plans? Why did I say that? Were there plans for you to win the NWA championship?
Man, I was there for such a short period of time. I don't really think that there were plans, many plans for anything really long term. I literally had, I did 3 shows for them, which are 3 tapings, I should say, because I think they got, out of every taping, we got 4 or 5 episodes, if I'm not mistaken. But no, I had a little program with Eli Drake, who's now LA Knight, and just a couple of other like random things thrown in there. I tagged with, I think my first thing I did there was I tagged with Colt Cabana.
Yeah. Colt Cabana.
Yeah, no long-term plans as far as I know.
A lot of people ask about the NWA. So the fact that you were there for such a short amount of time, yet people still ask a lot about it, means we should do a future episode on that. So that'll go in the bag for a future episode.
Yeah.
Another thing that everybody keeps, I see this comment everywhere whenever I'm producing here in the background. We put content out. And tell me how this makes you feel. Tony Jenkins says, bring back the blonde hair. In which part of anybody's life do you just go up to someone and be like, shave your beard, bring back the blonde hair? Is it something you would consider, Ken?
I mean, if somebody's going to pay me to do it.
What's the price?
I got you. I don't know. It's negotiable, yeah, it's such a pain in the ass. It really is. And I feel like I like the beard. My wife likes the beard. My kids like the beard. Like my mom last weekend said, you should shave your beard. And
bring back the blonde hair.
And my 11-year-old daughter said, nope.
My daughters have never seen me without a beard, so I'm at the point now where I'm like, oh, I can't. It's like telling them Santa's not real. You know what I mean? So I'm at that point where I really couldn't. Off the back of that, right?
Did you ever see the video of the guy who like shaves his beard? I'm sure there's many of these, and
looks like a baby.
But he goes out to show his daughter, and the daughter starts crying. Like,
yeah.
Totally taking away the identity. See, on the back of that, I would just like to point something out, right? And then I'll ask you a question as to why you first dyed your hair blonde. But
good question.
Joe Henry, I watched because he's from our area. Literally, the company I was in, he was the champ. Black hair for many years. Starts dyeing it blonde. Heads off to WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes leaves WWE. He's on the Indies with black hair. Dyes it blonde, creates AEW, heads off to WrestleMania, right? And I'm sure there's more wrestling superstars that when they dye their hair blonde, something magical happens and they head to the top of WWE. What inspired you to first dye your hair blonde?
I remember I just always liked that look when I was a kid. Like, the Billy Idol look, like I loved that. As a kid, I just had that spiky blonde hair or whatever. If you look at when I first started in WWE, I sort of did the spikes.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because, so I did that on the Indies. When I first started my very first match, I had dyed my hair blonde. And then about 3 years in, I decided to go au natural and went back to my, my natural hair color
Mhm.
I had a goatee at the time, and then I get to OVW, and Steve Kern came down. They would every once in a while, like every few weeks, they would send a producer down who would watch matches and watch practice and just sort of give you their take on everything. And I remember Steve said, "Look at you, you know, like you're built well, you have a great look, but you just kind of look like a guy." And he goes, "I think that a wrestler, if you want to make it in this business, if you want to be successful, really successful, you need to, when you walk into a restaurant or a hotel or a gym, people look at you and go, I don't know what that guy does, but he's somebody." And I went home that night because he was there for 2 days. I went home that night and I bleached my hair blonde again and I bleached my goatee. And I came back the next day and he was like, "That's what I'm talking about." And it was funny because he was happy about it. Cornette was pissed. "What the fuck? You ain't fucking dyed your hair blonde?" And then well, fuck it. Then you're with the Blonde Bombers. And he stuck me, he put me in a tag team with Tank Toland. They ended up being the Dicks in WWE SmackDown. You know who I'm talking about?
Vaguely.
Chad Wicks, Tank Toland, and Melissa Coates. We were called the Blonde Bombers. And the funny thing was, is he gave me a microphone that night, and that was the first time that I ever got an opportunity. And I was like, I'm gonna fucking go. I want to find it somewhere. It probably exists, because like I was just like a swing for the fences.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time that I was able to show character. I remember coming back to the curtain and he was like, "Where the fuck is that guy been?"
Wow.
So that sort of started turning. And we've talked about this before, where I said, you know, Jim wasn't holding me back. He just didn't see anything in me. It was that point where he started actually like, maybe I could. And then like the next week he gave me another promo, I think. And then he got fired the next week. So.
Oh, that sucks. Well, there you go. There you go.
So in saying that, had he not been fired, we might still be having this conversation, because it was starting to take off a little bit.
It's all in the hair. I'm telling you. You just confirmed it. You tied your hair blonde. Cornette's like, "Where the fuck that guy been?" Telling you, that's the first time you. And by the way, when you were chatting to Undertaker a couple episodes back, the match you were talking about, someone actually reached out and showed you their fan cam footage of that match. So if anyone does have this match that Ken just spoke about, please do send it to us, because I know Ken would love to see it.
I think it's on. I think it was OVW television. It was actually on a televised show.
So it probably still exists. I'm telling you, right? Mark my words. Dye your hair blonde again. WWE are like, right, you need to come in and we're going to put you with LA Knight, and then we're going to put you with Randy. And I'm like, I told you. Just like that. You came back at one point as well, and I think you came straight out and you went for Randy, and you had kind of shaved your facial hair to like a.
Yeah.
Was that like, this is how they'll know I'm face? Was that a Vince McMahon thing, or did you just think, I'm going for something different?
No, I didn't. Vince was mad about it. Like, so when I first got pulled up from OVW,
mm-hmm.
I remember, I believe if you watch my very first match with Funaki on Velocity, my debut, I have the bleach blonde little chitch, the little goatee. And then when I debuted on SmackDown 2 or 3 weeks later, he was like, "You got to shave it. I don't like it." And then when I kept like asking, can I just grow it back? Can I grow it back? No. And so then when I came back for that match, that was my last match. Yeah. I did it, and he didn't say anything about it. So I just, I'm pretty sure I had it there.
Yeah. Just decided.
Like, fuck it, I'll ask for. It's better to ask for forgiveness than it is to ask for permission sometimes.
That's always the way to do it. Yeah. The official white man says you guys have another guest. Oh, it's a way. It's because we were talking about beautiful blonde hair, so the cat's like, oh, they must be talking about me. The official white man also says, hey Ken, you are always one of my favourites in WWE and TNA. I've actually met you twice. One time at a TNA house show in Ireland. Other was at a Packers game in Lambeau.
That's where
I'm sorry.
Lambeau Field. Really? Where did we meet? That's great.
You know, a lot of the time as well, people get so like, oh no, the amount of people that you will have met through your career, like, it's not that you don't remember them specifically or that they're not memorable. It's just like, it's really hard, especially when you get a little bit older, to remember every face and every conversation. But I'm sure if everybody watching has a story where Ken can relate, he probably, it's fair to say, you would remember them. Do you ever used to get the same fans like everywhere you go, to the point where you're like, oh, there's that he or she again?
Oh yeah. Oh yes. And whenever we would do WWE tours of Europe, there was this group of fans who would literally, I don't know how they did it. We would always wonder, like, where do they get the information from? Because we would show up, and I'm telling you, we would do a 9-day tour, and it was like, we'd do 3 cities in Italy, we would do France, we would do Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and they would be at we would fly into the country, go right to the hotel, and they'd be waiting in the lobby.
Wow.
We would leave the hotel in the morning. So say we're in Glasgow and we're heading for Wales, Cardiff. And we would literally, like, as we were leaving the hotel, they would be in the lobby saying goodbye to us. And then when we would be rolling into the hotel, they would be waving hi in the lobby. They would follow us on the whole tour.
See, with that type of organization, like, WWE should be hiring them to deal with your travel, right? With that type of organization skills.
It's just wild.
Phenomenal. The white official man says it was either 2013/14. I think it was against the Viking. We sat right next to each other, and I recognized you immediately from TNA.
Amazing. 2014. Huh. I
that
don't
was a while
recall.
ago.
I don't recall anything about 2014, but
here's something from. See, when you meet a fan, and I've done loads of conventions where I'm there covering it, press, right? And I see celebrities, actors, and they're encountering a fan, and you can see them being like, okay, you can see that, like, the fan is almost making them uncomfortable with how, oh, look, there's a famous person, right? But then you do, like, and I seem to think, when I meet a lot of people, and usually their guard's down because I come in through the press door. Doesn't mean I'm any less a fan, but I will talk to them like a human being, and then, you know, the guard breaks. For yourself, when you meet a fan, so if you're out getting your haircut and someone's sitting next to you as a fan, do you prefer it to be short and sweet if they're a fan, or do you just kind of take it as it comes?
no, I'm pretty chatty. I think I mean, even if I don't want to talk, I'll still do it because I know what it's like being on the other end of that, and I just it's part of my job, and I'm very blessed to be in a situation where, like, somebody wants to talk to me because of my job.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Totally.
it just comes with the territory, I think. Kind of irritates me. It irritates me when I see wrestlers treat fans like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, somebody will come up and ask for an autograph, 5 o'clock in the morning at the airport. Like, it's part of my job. It ain't a bad gig.
Yeah, totally.
You signed up for this. Honestly, like, obviously there are exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stalking.
When you're in mid-bite with your family at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Here's another Booker T. Oh.
Oh no.
Yes, we've stumbled. Here we go.
We were flying somewhere. We were flying overseas. and Booker is in the front in the business class with like where you get the beds that lay out, right? You get your own little pod.
Nice.
And Booker's like fucking laid out. He's got the eye mask. He's got the eye mask on, curled up. And somebody went up to him. Excuse me. All right. And he and he aren't you Booker T? He went, what? Get the fuck out of here. No. Get the fuck out of here. This motherfucker. And just went off on this guy. If you're in the back of the plane, you could hear, get the fuck out of here. This motherfucker sees me sleeping.
He should have, you know, Young Rock has his own like show. I think one about Booker T's life would be phenomenal. Just to see these instances.
You know, him doing commentary started because we would always, when we were on house shows, there would be just one camera, a hard cam on a tripod, a TV in the back with a bunch of chairs, like 2 or 3 rows of chairs set up as a monitor so that you could sit and watch the matches, right? Like, and Booker would sit there and do commentary. You know, all right, these two right here, they're going to lock it. It was like, you know, there'd be like, remember there was a new guy and he wasn't like getting, you know, good response. This guy's going to come to the curtain. The people are going to go, they're going to go crazy. The fans are going to go nuts. What? No. Oh, these guys, right now they're lost. They don't know what the fuck they're doing right now. Oh, you just poked them in the eye on the lockup. Oh, oops. Oh, and then like something would get messed up and you go, they modified it.
Damn. I think he'd be a great narrator for Botchamania. Do you like Botchamania, Ken?
Yes. I do. I think it's funny. You know, mistakes happen in our line of work, and there are some really funny ones. And I've made it a couple times. I think one, the microphone coming down, and I missed it, and it went, you know, bounced off my hand, ricocheted off my hand, goes swinging. And then there's another one where I did a swanton off the top rope. Bully Ray was on a table on the floor. And I did a spot where I'm going to swanton him. And I hit and just rolled right off him. And the table
I am the table.
quickly, I got up. And by the time I got up, Bully was already like feeding towards me. And he goes, Mike, check me through the table. And so I hooked him and just.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
We modified it.
It'd be good to see Booker collaborate with Botchamania and just like narrate. I think that'd be awesome.
That would be
based on.
I could see it.
Yeah, as long as it pays good, I think he'd be in. Gav says Botchamania is awesome. Correct. See, anytime I see it pop up saying there's a new episode of Botchamania, I go, oh, yes, hell yeah. While you're having a sip there. We are affiliated with these guys, Rogue Energy, and Ken's going to tell you exactly what you can expect when you sign up for some Rogue Energy.
Hey, it's Mr. Anderson, and if you're like me, you need to stay locked in, whether you're in the gym, gaming, or just grinding through the day. That's why I roll with Rogue Energy. They've got 3 killer options: hydration, no sugar, just clean electrolytes, energy packed with focus and stamina boosters, chill when it's time to wind down without crashing. All 3 are just $34.99. But because you're watching Mic Check, I got your back. Head to rogueenergy.com and use the promo code MicCheck for 10% off. Stay sharp, stay strong, stay rogue.
Hell yeah. What's your favorite flavor?
I
I
don't
like them
even
all.
know. Yeah, I like them all. All the ones that they sent a bunch of packets and the big tub. Just, I'm on my second one.
Damn.
Oof.
Been a crazy week, clearly.
This is my favorite.
Yeah.
Dragon
yeah,
fruit mango.
dragon fruit.
Tried it tonight for the first time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Banging.
Too late for the energy ones for us, but
Mm.
it's one of the hydration ones. It's great, but that
Yeah.
was the last packet, so I need to get more.
Oh, no way. Well, you can use our 10% discount code.
I
With,
need to get spent more.
yeah. Just head to rogueenergy.com and type in mic check in the wee code bit. Terrible. And you'll get 10% off, Connor. I'm sure we have a better code there as well.
Thanks, Kev.
I know. A plug where a plug is due. There are a couple of questions. There's a lot of people sending the same questions. I do apologise that we not get them straight away, but sometimes we've got to let the man do his thing. And we do. Do you guys drink Dr. Pepper? Asks Dakota Fisher. I don't really drink fizzy juice. Ken?
No.
No.
Yeah, I do.
Nah.
Yeah. I never drink full fat or sugar soda. If I drink soda, it's always sugar free. But I love Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Pepper. They also make like a cream soda. That's
Oh, nice.
Have you ever tried Iron Brew?
I have.
You have. What did you think?
Love it. Love it.
Yes.
Oh, that's good stuff.
Iron Brew's quite decent. We need to get you some if you. Oh, look, there you are. Gav's asking, has Ken tried Iron Brew? Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, they changed Iron Brew here. It used to taste great, but then because of the sugar tax, they made like a fucking watered down version, right? And we tried that, and the Scots were like, give us back our Iron Brew. So what they done was they marketed a new Iron Brew, which was the original flavour. It fucking wasn't. Stop lying, we know the difference. They've just marketed the shit one and tried to pretend to us like it was the same one. It wasn't.
They're doing that Mandela effect shit to you guys, right?
Oh, 100%. And yet we're not falling for it. We're Scottish. You know, there was on our last live stream, Connor tells me there was a question that we never answered. It was directed to us as Scotsmen, right? And you can maybe share some knowledge as to why this would be the case. But Drew went up against Roman and Clash at the Castle, right?
Yep.
You're aware that we don't get a lot of pay-per-views here, PLEs.
Sure. Yep.
So when we get them, we'll make sure the earth shakes to let them know, like, give us more. Drew is our guy. Like, Drew is our guy.
Yeah.
So when Drew comes to town, whether it's a live event or whatever, like that's something about the Scottish as well. If there's a Scottish contestant that's even like the worst guy in a TV show, we'll still back him because he's Scottish. It's just one of those things, right? The question was on a previous that we never actually got to was, were we as Scotsmen raging when Drew was screwed at Clash of the Castle? Yes, we were. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? You're not raging?
A little bit, but you know what? I thought they'd done it really well. I'm a big CM Punk fan. So, you know, him sliding in, you knew it was going to be him, but just, you know...
Even the year previous, though, with Roman, that was the worst, because it kind of almost felt like time. But is there a method to that? Because I believe I read somewhere that Vince was very big on you lose in your hometown. Did that ever happen to you? No?
No, I don't believe that's a thing. I think it just might be a coincidence that it just so happens that a majority of the time, the storyline that somebody's embroiled in at that particular moment just makes sense for that person to lose in that. And with his character and the sort of whiny, you know, he was like complaining about Punk and right, pissing and moaning constantly.
Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, it's. Is that what they were calling him? That's funny.
That's what LA Knight called him.
Yeah.
No, as a performer, as a wrestler, that is like, that's spectacular. That's to draw that type of emotion from people. It's what you want.
Totally.
I don't know if the whole crowd was against it. To be honest, there was quite a lot of cheering as well as some boos when it happened. So a lot of the crowd were clearly big CM Punk fans.
For the Punk one, not for the Roman one, though.
No, of course not. No, that was a real.
I think only CM Punk can get away with like turning the hometown boy like into like we don't care because CM Punk's here. I think only people like CM Punk can do that. You know, the attractions.
Yeah, we did get a win though. We did get a Scottish win. You know, we got the women's tag team titles that night, which was a big shock. Everyone loved that.
Was it?
It was a big shock though. To be fair, no one expected it. I was buzzing.
Hey, I got kind of a funny one. So a couple of years ago, Drew wins the title at WrestleMania, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
He's a buddy of mine, and we did some riding together when we were both at TNA. You know, we were pretty tight. We did several tours of like doing independent wrestling gigs over in the UK. Got to be really good friends. Anyway, he wins the title. As he's in the ring, on his knees, like, you know.
Yeah.
I just texted him out. The belt is a prop. The title is always it's a prop. You know, it's not real, but it is like something like that. And I assumed that his dad was in the house. And, you know, just I know his father as well. So I just texted him. I was like, hey, man, congrats. That's really cool. And literally like 3 minutes later, the fucking, you know, the switch happened where he lost it. He lost it right away.
Damian Priest.
Yeah, Damian Priest came out and Anastasia said, well, you need to follow that text up with just kidding.
Or just lol.
Yeah.
I think Drew's time,
but you know what? The thing is like he laughed about it. And he's like, storyline, brother. That's the magic.
Yeah.
For him, it wasn't about losing a title. It was about telling that story and getting that satisfaction of like that finish. When you saw Punk, when you heard, you know, Punk, did he trip him or something like that? He did something to him, right? And he tripped him and he ate shit. And then Damian Priest's music hit and you went, oh, and that's what you hope for as a performer.
I saw a clip of an American woman who's quite like my mum, still really invested, right? Shouting at the TV. She's like, all you had to do was grab the fucking title and walk. Now look what you did. Do you know what I mean? It's your fault. That's like that stuff just like adds an extra element to it. It's phenomenal. Drew's time will come, by the way. We all see the work that man puts in and just how next level he is. I think because WWE's stacked right now and there's so much that there's so little space to move, but Drew will do exactly what it says on the tin where Drew's concerned. We'll maybe take one or two more questions before we wrap up here, folks. I saw a good one. Yes, here's a good one from Triple E. Any stories working with RVD? You ever smoke with him? If so, who was out smoking?
Well, when I was in TNA around RVD, smoking weed was not legal, so I would never do anything that would. No, I actually don't smoke. It's not something that's I don't like it. It doesn't sit well with me. I wish it did. I wish. Because I've smoked it obviously, and like the pain relief is amazing, but it's just I don't like the way it makes me feel. So nope, never smoked with RVD. But I worked with him a lot at TNA and had some pretty killer matches. I feel loved working with him.
100%. I really enjoyed the RVD TNA days, the whole effing show. was really, really good. It's funny though, everybody just now thinks that RVD and thinks, smoking, right? It's like it's really his thing. And I think the good thing is that's his thing. Like, he embraces that and wants to educate the world on it. I'm like you, Ken. I think I've tried it like 3 times in my life, and each time I've been like, why did I try this again? Like, it's not for me. And I understand a lot of my friends get a lot out of it. Cool. It's just, I'm the kind of guy that can sit in a room with everybody high, and I just don't need to be. Do you know what I mean? So I could totally relate. Oh, he's a stoner.
Oh yeah, every day.
Yeah.
No. I've tried a few times, and yeah, I just didn't like the way it made me feel after a certain point. So,
I overthink everything to begin with, and it just makes me it like triples that. Like, yeah.
Fair dues, eh? No mark anything. We'll wrap this show up after this question. And by the way, everybody that's given us super chats tonight, you guys are legends. Thank you so much. It really helps support the show. Everybody that tuned in and gave us questions, we appreciate you. Never go out our way to not ask your questions, but I need to kind of try and keep it contextual. And some of these are not even writing questions. You're just like, hey, remember that time I met you? Like, you know what I mean? Or Mister. But this question: did you get along with Triple H backstage?
Man, that's a tough one to answer. I felt like he didn't like me at the time. For whatever reason, I probably didn't give him a reason to like me. And I talked about this. With Steve Austin once on his podcast, where I I got to SmackDown and I earned the respect of all those guys. And then I guess when I got over to Raw, I just assumed that everybody else was going to just, I don't know what I was feeling, but like I never went out of my way to like be ultra friendly or approachable to those guys. And I always felt like those guys didn't like me. So
it's a shame.
But we were professional.
Mm-hmm.
And I've since then I've had interactions with him. I've talked to him. I feel like I was a different person back then, and I also see that like he was a different person as well. So
I think that sometimes it can be just circumstance, timing, and everything. You've probably not checked it out yet because it just dropped today. But there's a new series on Netflix called WWE Unreal, and it shows you a lot of Triple H's perspective, and him and CM Punk both talk about why they didn't like each other in the beginning. And then Triple H even says, after Punk left, I did reach out and we did talk about him coming back. And then I was like, do you know what? He's not changed at all. So let's just leave it another couple of years. And then years later, he goes, this is the time where we were both at the stage where we could. And they both mirror each other's sentiments and what they're saying and why CM Punk was a certain way, why that rubbed him the wrong way. And it is just an ensemble of chaos when, two carts are not pulling in the same direction. So, I think if ever there was a time to I wouldn't say mend fences, because I don't think there was any fences broken, but if there was ever a time to align, it would be now. So again, manifest that stuff, because it'd be pretty cool for you to chat to the guys in WWE, TNA, everywhere that, the wrestling business, you're all on the same team, like you say. So it'd be really cool to just make sure that the team are all playing together.
Exactly. We're all on the same page.
100%. So it'd be cool to manifest that. This has been a really fun episode, as always. We hope everybody that's tuning in enjoyed it. I certainly have. Been looked after by Rogue Energy. You're all seeing us through EMEET. You guys have looked after us here with super chats. And everybody that's going to be listening to us on Spotify everywhere, if you are listening to us on the go, please give us a review wherever you're listening to it. We are available everywhere. So if a wee review helps other people find this show. For many, many years, I feel like Ken's not been out there being himself, holding the mic, so to speak. So it's an absolute honor to be able to sit here while he does that. And it'd be great for the rest of the wrestling world to join us and really catch up with Mister. Is there anything you'd like to touch upon before we leave, Ken?
No, I just appreciate everybody for tuning in, for subscribing. As you said, it's nice to be able to open up and talk about this stuff. And as I've said before, I don't feel like I need to whine about anything or complain about anything. It's good to be able to talk about it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Let's have fun. We are having fun. I'm loving this.
Absolutely. We're loving it. And it's only going to get bigger from here. So thank you, Ken, for joining us every week and taking this journey together, because it's truly a labor of love.
Truly. And I really, really appreciate you guys. Again, I'll say it. Anastasia and I, from the bottom of our hearts, appreciate you guys for reaching out in the first place and suggesting this. So
it was fate, meant to be, and truly we love it. So we'll be here as long as you're here, mate.
Well, you know what? The pleasure was all yours.
Thank you, guys. We will see you next week. Take it easy.
Next time.